This is Captain's Log with your host, Captain Mark Gray. Welcome aboard.
You're out in the middle of the ocean and disaster strikes. Your life may depend upon factors you're not aware of. Learn from the men who teach water survival in the Navy. Next. The United States Navy. Welcome aboard, John.
Thanks, Mark.
Could you tell us your job title and description?
Well, I'd be glad to, Mark. I've been in the Navy now about 15 years, and the majority of my job, I work on survival equipment. Now that involves the test, the check, and the inspection, and the training of aircrew personnel and any other individuals that are going through flight training on how to use the survival equipment that we supply them, both personal mounted and aircraft mounted. As of right now, where I'm teaching water survival training out at Point Magoo, and it's a very interesting aspect of my career so far, and it's something I enjoy an awful lot, teaching people how to use survival equipment the right way and what they should have and what they shouldn't have.
Well, I'm sure you've saved quite a few lives that you can be happy about. You may not know about them, but I'm sure you have. I understand you have some special equipment here. Could you go over
Yes,
that?
I do, Mark. What I brought today was just a few things that I think the average individual who goes out on a boat should have on his person or readily accessible in order to throw into the water if he needs it, in order to survive basically just for a short period of time. And the first thing I'd like to show you is it's a small medical kit. Now this is an item that anybody can get these pieces of equipment right out of a general first aid kit, but you'll notice that it's very small. Now the thing that's nice about this is it carries just the basic items they're going to need to survive, usually in a survival situation such as minor cuts and bruises, and some of the things that are stored in this survival kit that we teach people how to use is
Could you hold that up?
Sure.
That way and towards the camera.
Okay.
And that way our audience can see.
The items that are installed in here is you got some Band-Aids, just regular everyday Band-Aids, and they do a lot of different things, but as for the most part you use it to cover minor cuts and burns and scrapes or anything else. Also we put in a regular package of bandage. You can get those just about anywhere.
Is that gauze? Or?
Yeah, just regular gauze. You can pick it up at a regular store, anything, pharmacy, anything like that, yeah. And then a small bar of soap, because if you're going to be out there for a while, it'd be nice to be able to wash some of the scum off.
Is that ocean saltwater soap?
Well, no, I don't know if sure.
That's
you can
okay.
say that,
we can pass on that.
And
but they do have saltwater soap. We should mention.
Sure,
I guess.
sure. And we also carry in some surgical tape. Now, one of the things that's nice about the surgical tape is it can not only be used to apply dressings, but it can be used in a lot of other things to fasten covers over your body in an exposure situation. It can also be used to temporarily patch a life raft if necessary.
So if you had a plastic trash bag and you're out there in the cold and the wet, you can huddle up into it and tape it down because the wind's trying to blow it away.
Absolutely right. And that's something that I want to stress an awful lot is protection of the body, and you can use just about anything for that matter. Then we put in some anti-diarrhea tablets, and in the anti-diarrhea tablets, anything that will prevent the body from losing too many of its bodily fluids is excellent for that matter.
So the main problem you're worried with if someone has diarrhea is actually the fluids going out of the body.
Right, right. You remember, you want to try to retain as much of your fluid as possible, because once you start to lose your body fluids, you have to fill your body back up with fresh water or food or anything else, and you're going to be on a very limited amount of supplies that you do have.
Let me ask this. Everyone, I think it's common knowledge that salt retains water in the body. And would it be worthwhile to eat some salt, or would it make you more thirsty and defeat the purpose?
Yes, it defeats the purpose, and that's why you don't drink salt water, because what happens is your body is thriving for water, and what happens is it retains the salt and can't retain the moisture, and so in that matter, what ends up happening is your body becomes more dehydrated, caused by the salt itself. You have a strong thirst in order to drink more fresh water, which you don't have a whole lot of. And along those same lines, we've put water purification tablets inside here. Now you can pick those up at just about any Army surplus store, such as the like.
I also understand you use 1 drop of bleach per gallon of water, like chlorine.
It can be, however, we don't recommend that. We've got the water purification tablets, and you can also make a condensing tool out of just a piece of plastic over a large raft. You can use it to condense the moisture and collect it underneath.
Now, to explain that a little more to people, for instance, if you had the same plastic trash bag, perhaps you can put some salt water in the raft and tape the bag over a portion of the raft with a little rock or a weight holding the center down.
You're
put a cup
right.
under it.
Yeah,
let the evaporation collect and come down and fall in there.
That's right. And it's a very effective means of doing that. Sure, sure. And along the same lines, we put in some aspirin and some eye ointment and a few other things in there. And one of the other things that we put inside of it is a water receptacle. Now, a lot of people will look at this water receptacle. I don't know if you can see it, but all it primarily is a prophylactic. And the reason for that is because as small as it is, it can retain an awful lot of water, and we can put it in a small package. Now, anybody can build one of these small little medical kits, and I highly recommend that they do because of the usefulness involved with this. Now, I don't recommend using this for a primary medical kit on that basis, but I would recommend using it for survival situations. And again, you want to check this every 6 months to a year. Make sure that it's all good and it hasn't leaked out of the tubes or anything else.
Or expired, the expiration dates.
That's absolutely true.
And you could probably, that's small enough, you could put it on your life vest.
Right.
That way if you fell overboard, you would have that minimal amount of necessary
Absolutely
equipment.
right. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is a general kit, and in this general kit, we carry an awful lot of small items that can be used to sustain life and also for protection. We carry some sugar-coated candy, and the reason we do that is because everybody knows that sugar is a high protein, and that's something to sustain life for a short period of time, and that's the primary reason why we put those. We put charms in there, and some Energets, and some chiclets, and things like that. And some of the other items that we put inside is a small signal mirror. We also put in mosquito head net and mittens. If you're in a southern exposure where there's an awful lot of insects, of course, if there's a lot of insects, you're pretty close to the land, so you know you're going to be saved pretty soon anyway, but it would be nice to have them. There is another water storage container. There is a metal match that you don't have too much of a need out in the open ocean to start a fire in your life raft, of course, but if it ever comes to a point where you have to be on land and have to survive, it's nice to be able to start a fire of its own.
And so people that don't know what a metal match is, could you explain that?
Sure. Well, the metal match, all it is just a small stick with a piece of flint, and then we give them a small tool on the inside to cause the spark itself. And by just taking a small amount of dry timber or anything like that, you can use that in order to get a fire started. It may sound a little archaic, but it's probably the most effective means of starting a fire because not everybody's got their own Bic lighter out there. And then we also put in some tweezers and some safety pins inside of it so that they can use that for fastening covers. They can use it for quick fixtures or anything else. And then last but not least is a real small wrist compass. Now, this is nice to have, and it's a real small item, but I would recommend that if you're going to be in a survival situation, that you get yourself a nice small compass such as this, because this is very easy to use. It's a heck of a lot more reliable than this.
I would want to say one thing. I've gone in many stores and looked at all their compasses, and north is pointing in different directions on each one. You try to find 2 or 3 or 5 that point in one direction, but it's hard to do. So where do you check it out? Should you take it to your boat or somewhere and check that compass against yours, or prior to buying it, hopefully you could check it?
Sure, and then again, you have to understand that anytime you're inside of a building, that it's going to cause magnetic interference.
Okay, well, we're going to be right back after this with more survival equipment. This is